Hi, I'm Ben Hallock,
And I'm Paul Bischoff.
and today we will be presenting the ancient versus modern Olympic training.
A brief overview of the tetrad training system. This includes a 4-day cyclic regimen, where the first day is meant to prepare the athlete with short, intense workouts, and the second day is where the athlete performs their sport at the highest intensity. And exercises within the second day are mostly to improve strength and speed. The third day is meant for recovery, where they normally do stretching, and the last day is meant for a medium intense workout where they focus on technique. More on the tetrad training system. The advantages of this system are that it is quick in preparation since it is only 4 days. It does allow for resting time on days 3 and 4. It benefits athletes in strength and speed. It is a strict schedule and allows for developing technique. For the disadvantages, the opinions of Galen state that the athlete should not be training at such high or such low intensities and rather be training at intermediate intensities to best monitor their physical condition. The inflexibility of the schedule does not allow for the athlete to account for other aspects of their life. The lack of knowledge of the trainer about the athlete is also poor for their physical condition, and the predetermined regimen does not allow for the athlete to focus specifically on their sport, and more it focuses just on strength and speed.
Modern Olympic training systems. Sports periodization is a systematic planning of modern-day athletic training. The aim is to reach the athlete's peak performance in the most important competition of the year. This involves cycling various aspects of a training program during specific periods. The idea from sports periodization came from what is known as general adaptation syndrome. General adaptation syndrome has three main components: the alarm stage, the initial shock of the stimulus on the system, the resistance stage, involving adaptation to the stimulus by the system, and the exhaustion stage, in that repairs are inadequate and a decrease in system functions results. As you can see from the graphic to the right, during the alarm stage, performance initially dips below homeostasis before improving during the resistance stage, and then finally in the exhaustion stage, performance drops off. Periodization. Periodization has three main components. The macrocycle, which represents 1 calendar year in the athlete's training. It is oriented around the peak performance competition of that year. Mesocycle can last anywhere from 2 to 6 weeks or occurs for the duration of a particular phase with a specific focus. The microcycle, the small cycle of training, typically 1 week long, organized primarily on the number of light versus heavy days of training. The idea of periodic training is to keep one's body in the resistance stage without ever going into the exhaustion stage. Tetrad versus sports periodization. Periodization has some very distinct advantages over the tetrad system. The first is flexibility. Modern athletes have personalized training regimens that are tailored for their needs. Unlike the rigid format of the tetrad, cycles today are adjusted based on how the athlete feels. Long-term recovery. Having the long-term plan, the macro cycle, allows for long-term recovery to be optimized. The tetrad is short-sighted in the fact that it is just a 4-day cycle on repeat.
Knowledgeable trainers are included in modern sports training today. Instead of the trainers in the tetrad cycle, athletic trainers today have an understanding of each athlete and their field or sport. Lastly, periodization allows for the training regimen to be sport-specific, whereas the tetrad system primarily focused on strength and speed with little attention to the athlete's technique.
The tetrad system paved the way for more refined scientific methods of cyclic training. The feedback and personalized oriented structure of the modern periodization are the most important differentiation between the tetrad.